Roller Sport. We're very glad to have you all here with us today. We're going to start with some player introductions. So as we call your name and introduction, we'll have you walk out onto your lane, and we'll have everybody stay out there until we call their names.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the MJBT WYBT Border Battle. As you can hear, they are introducing players right now. Let's listen in.
Also, we have Allison Roberts. Aubrey Kittle.
Bristol Byer, Gabby Silva, Kelly Whipple, Jade Elke, Natalie Curtis, Mackenzie Matisse, and Zoe Darwin.
All right, MJBTers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. I want to say a quick thank you to Zach and Dylan for reaching out and putting this event together. I think it was a great collaboration, and we are more than happy to be a part of this event. So thank you to you guys. Our girls today, first is Haley Trisky from Minnetonka, Minnesota. Callie Trisky, also from Minnetonka, Minnesota. Maddie Wallace from St. Paul, Minnesota. Claire Jacobson, New Prague, Minnesota. Brittany Cryer, Mounds View, Minnesota. Zoe Skinner from Crystal, Minnesota. Peyton Rowley, Stewartville, Minnesota. Elizabeth Rittenauer from Princeton, Minnesota. Ashley Gorman from Stillwater, Minnesota. And Trista Rauma from Isanti, Minnesota.
All right, and representing the boys team from WYBT, from Wapaka, Wisconsin, we have Braden Malish. From Sauk Prairie, Wisconsin, we have Brendan Hall. From Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, we have Gabe Stoddy. From Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, we have Gavin Suprenand. From Appleton, Wisconsin, we have Luke Winter. From Muskego, Wisconsin, Rory Clark. From Iola, Wisconsin, Robert Vater. From Grafton, Wisconsin, Ryan Drykosen. From Eau Claire, Wisconsin, we have Trey Henriksmeyer. And from Appleton, Wisconsin, we have Kale Rush.
And for the MJBT on the boys' side, from Princeton, Minnesota, Zach Andreessen. From Glendon, Minnesota, Lucas Herzrud. From Ramsey, Minnesota, Austin Anderson. From Becker, Minnesota, Brady Gustafson. From Princeton, Minnesota, Dakota France. From Bismarck, North Dakota, Dawson Unrath. From Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, Blake Hansen. From Blaine, Minnesota, Noah Clayson. From Stillwater, Minnesota, Drake Waite. And from Anoka, Minnesota, Chase Swenson.
Want me to keep talking to this one too? Okay, well, again, welcome to the Border Battle. It's the inaugural Border Battle between WYBT and MJBT. First, I also want to thank MJBT for collaborating with us on this event. I think that this kind of competition is something really special that we have in bowling, to have 40 of the best bowlers between Wisconsin and Minnesota here all in one building. A way to just show off the best players we have between both states is really something special. So I want to thank all the bowlers here and congratulate all of them for making it to this event, and to let them know that they definitely earned their spot here, and we're very proud of all of them for all their accomplishments so far. So we can get a round of applause for all the bowlers here today. All right, I'm going to do a brief overview of the format just to make sure everybody knows how it's going to work today. So we have the singles, doubles, and team events today. Singles is worth 20 points. Doubles is worth a total of 20 points. And the team event, which will happen this afternoon, is worth 40 points. So no one can take the cup, take the trophy in the first half. It's going to take a lot of team bowling in the second half today to come away with the Border Battle trophy. So each singles match is worth 1 point. Each doubles match is worth 2 points. And every team match is worth 10 points. For doubles, for singles, it is a 2 games total pins match. Winner there earning 1 point. In doubles, it's a best of 5 Baker match. And the winners there will earn 2 points again. And then in team, we have 4 teams of 5 bowlers bowling a Baker best of 7. And those are for 10 points for each match. Cool. So for those of you who have never been to a WYBT, we do offer live scoring. So throughout the day, if you want to watch all the scores from each match and see what bowlers have accumulated the most number of points, we'll have that QR code available at the check-in table located near lanes 1 and 2. So we have all those scores and the current point standings available over there. I also have a TV monitor with me, so you can see all of the points and standings over there. What we
we'll
are
be
doing for
updating
the
that on the
bowlers
live
today
stream
is we do
as
have
you
some
can
scholarship
see right
dollars.
here.
So I want to thank MJBT for helping us give out scholarships to all the bowlers that are here today. Everybody's going to be getting a $100 scholarship in their smart account. So every bowler will get $100 at least. And then the top bowlers in each gender team, based on the number of points that they earn between all 3 events and their 2 game total pinfall from singles, there are additional scholarships to be earned. And we have the highest point earner, and then after that, the highest total pinfall is the tiebreaker, earning $300 for first place. And we'll pass out some scholarships to another 10 bowlers based on their performance today. So after your matches, bowlers, please just bring your clipboards up to the table behind lanes 1 and 2, and we will reorganize those and bring new score sheets back out to you for doubles. And on your starting pair here, you're going to have 10 minutes of practice, and we'll get that started right on schedule at 9:15. And again, thank you all for being here today to support both tours. Something that both Daron and I are really, and Dylan and Daron and I are both very interested in is sportsmanship. And so we look forward to a very quality display of bowling today and also some great sportsmanship. All right. So yeah, we'll get started with practice at 9:15.
That was Zach Singer and Daron Hansen that you were hearing make some pre-tournament announcements here at the MJBT WYBT Border Battle. Thanks to all of you who are joining in live. Feel free to chime in the live chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, who you're supporting in this. It'll be a very exciting day of bowling in basically a format that, as Zach described, is a lot like if you want to imagine the USA versus the World PBA event that was held a few weeks back at the World Series of Bowling in Wauwatosa, where you've got singles, doubles, and team matches. But the team, which we will be live streaming this afternoon, is where things really start to shape out as far as which team is going to win and which team is going to lose. But everybody's getting scholarship money today, which is awesome. So big thanks to the tournament tours that are putting this on and depositing scholarship funds in everybody's smart account. I want to throw up the lane patterns just so you can get a view here, and that'll allow me to switch cameras too. But here's what they're going to be bowling on. So 2 different shots, one for the singles and doubles, which is about to get underway in a few minutes here. Another for the team events, so they'll be re-oiling during the break between the 2 shifts. And you can see those patterns right there. They're also posted on Facebook on the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour Facebook page. If just in case that's a little small. It certainly could be, but hopefully that gives you a sense of what these competitors are going to be bowling on today.
Everyone, I forgot to mention exactly how many points it takes to win the trophy today. So again, there's a total of 80 points in this competition to be earned. It takes 41 points to take home the trophy. So the first team to 41 points today or more will win the trophy.
So a race to 41 points here at the Border Battle today, and a total of 80 up for grabs. But again, nobody can win this until the team event later this afternoon. So singles and doubles, of course, it can help you jockey for position in this, but it'll take wins in the team event, Baker match wins, to win the Border Battle here at Wagner's Lanes in Eau Claire. Good morning, everyone. Andrew Pfeffer here for Bowling with the Pfeff. Just getting ready for some bowling action here. 2 all-star teams, if you're not familiar, from Wisconsin and Minnesota, the respective Scratch Scholarship Tours, doing battle here at the first Border Battle event. It's an exciting thing. This isn't something that happened while I was part of the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour as a competitor, or the Wisconsin Scholarship Bowlers Club. We kind of just did our own thing, and that was that. But today we come together at Wagner's Lanes, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, as the folks here will be competing. In case you didn't hear the introductions, here's who you're going to see in action today. This is a list of the boys competing today on the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour side. Trey Henriksmeyer, the one local competitor here from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I'm going to try on these names. Please forgive me if I botch up some pronunciations. Hopefully we'll get them right as we go. Gavin Soprenin, Braden Malish, Brendan Hull, Luke Winter, Gabe Stout, Ryan Dracosin, Rory Clark, Robert Vater, and Cale Rush, making up the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour on the boys' side. On the MJBT side for boys, you've got Zach Andreessen, Lucas Hersrud, Dawson Unrath, Noah Clayson, Dakota France, Drake Waite, Brady Gustafson, Blake Hansen, Austin Anderson, and Chase Swenson. That pinfall you hear in the background is the competitors taking part in 10 minutes of practice. they'll take care of that and then get going with the first games of competition here, singles matches. On the WYBT side for the girls, you've got Abigail Starkey, Kelly Whipple, Natalie Curtis, Mackenzie Matisse, Aubrey Kittle, Allison Roberts, Gabby Silva, Zoe Darwin, Bristol Byer, and Jade Elke. And on the MJBT side for the girls, Haley Trisky, Elizabeth Rittenauer, Peyton Rowley, Callie Trisky. Haley and Callie are sisters. Trista Rama, Claire Jacobson, Brittany Cryer, Zoe Skinner, Maddie Wallace, and Ashley Gorman. So for the singles matches, we'll run down where you'll see everybody. You'll see a kind of a selection of them on our live stream pairs here, but they'll be up and down the house. They're actually bowling on lanes 3 through 22 this morning. For our first singles matches, you've got Henriksmeyer and Andreessen on lanes 3 and 4 back over on the far end. Suprenin and Hersrud also on 3 and 4. Next to them, Starkey and Trisky on 5 and 6. I'm going to have to double check which Trisky that is. I probably should have put a first initial there. Whipple and Rittenauer also on 5 and 6. Malish against Unrath on lanes 7 and 8. Hall versus Clayson also on 7 and 8. You've got Curtis versus Rowley on 9 and 10. Matisse versus Trisky also on 9 and 10. So from there, you kind of start to get into the matches that will be in our field of view, as we've got cameras set up on 11, 12, 13, and 14, and then another camera on 15, 16, 17, and 18. So on 11 and 12, you got Winter versus France, Staudy or Staud versus Waite, Kittle versus Rama on 13 and 14, along with Roberts versus Jacobson. Drykosen against Gustafson on 15 and 16. Clark and Hansen also 15 and 16. Silva versus Cryer on 17 and 18. And then you go with Darwin versus Skinner, joining them on 17 and 18. Vater versus Anderson on 19 and 20. Rush versus Swenson also on 19 and 20. Byer versus Wallace on 21 and 22. And Elke versus Gorman on 21 and 22. So some great matches that we are looking forward to here. Again, the competitors are taking part in 10 minutes of practice right now before they get started with their singles match competition. And again, if you're joining us live, feel free to chime in. We've got a live chat going. Let us know where you're tuning in from, who you're cheering for this morning. We would love to hear from you. And a big thank you to both the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour and the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour, not only for putting on this event in beautiful Eau Claire, Wisconsin, but also for bringing me on to live stream this for all of you. Certainly appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing some great competitors show their stuff. Matt Miller joining us from Fargo says, good luck, everyone. Let's go, Hersrud. And Lucas Hersrud from Glendon, Minnesota. One of the competitors that we will see through the course of the day. We've got Brad Starkey saying, go Abby Starkey and Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour. And a thank you for the live stream. Well, thank you for tuning in. Always appreciated. And this is fun stuff for me too. I mean, it's going to be a full day of bowling competition, but this is something you do for the love of sport and the love of all this stuff. So certainly looking forward to bringing all of this to you. Brooke Salzman telling Brad hi. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Brooke is the reigning Minnesota USBC Queens champion. And Matt mentioning it is fun to watch the future of bowling. Absolutely. We had a sweeper here last night. About 30 competitors, mostly juniors, but a few adults mixed in. I got in there a little bit, and let's just say I didn't have to stay too late. But those are the breaks. And we bowled on a pretty challenging pattern as well last night during that sweeper. A lot of people minus, so I didn't feel too bad being, I believe I was minus triple digits for 5 games. But what I heard was I think it took either 40 over or 40 under to make the cut. Okay, good. Got it right. Thank you, Brooke. Brooke says, go Minnesota, and congratulations to you on your big win. And getting things going for the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour. After our singles matches here, we'll move on to our doubles competition. You can see that on this same live stream. Again, for the singles matches that are coming up, you've got 2-game total pinfall matches. And winning each of those matches earns the Players Tournament Tour 1 point. And then in the doubles, it's a Baker format, best of 5 games. Determines the winner of each match there, and winning each match earns the Players Tournament Tour 2 points. And as we go here, these matches are worth more and more points. The pressure is ratcheted up a little bit. And, Brad asking Brooke if she's going to make a run at the Queens today or what. She says she's going to try her best. Well, good luck out there. Speaking of tough oil patterns, that one certainly doesn't look like a walk in the park. And as the players wrap up practice, we will get going with our singles matches. Brooke missing her friends at the Border Battle. So everybody gets wrapped up for practice. Wrapped up with practice, I should say. Well, thanks so much for joining us either live or on replay. We certainly appreciate it. We're streaming live here at the Border Battle at Wagner's Lanes in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
All right, bowlers,
As
please
we get set for competition,
on your keypad,
if you
and
wouldn't
we'll get ready
mind
to go.
supporting the channel and subscribing, you can catch the link. It's the logo in the lower right over there. I'm on a road to 2,000 subscribers, up around, I think, maybe 1,130 right now. And your support means a lot. It's free to do, and you can be the first to know when we have live streams. We do a weekly show. We'll be off this week just because we're live streaming here at the Border Battle, but then resuming on the 31st. And also recorded content. But you know, if you do subscribe, you don't have to hit that notification bell. You can just, you know, let it sit. And that's fine too. Helps me out all the same. So you're looking live at lanes 17 through, or I'm sorry, 15 through 18. As we get our first look at Ryan Dracosin.
I did too, actually.
And Tracy Gustafson saying thanks for hosting the Border Battle and good luck to Minnesota and go Brady. Brady, one of the 4 competitors here on lanes 15 and 16. And he was one of the 3 who I actually crossed with last night at the Border Battle Sweeper. We had a nice little conversation about the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour and his accomplishments. Shared a few struggles along the way, but he finished great. He had a great finish. I think he shot 230 in the last game, which on that pattern was really something. Dracosin hits a double there on 16 to take an early lead in his match. And Kate Winter chiming in from the Kate Snails channel, saying, "Go Luke Winter and Team Wisconsin." I'll admit this is the first I've heard of the Kate Snails channel, but if it's got anything to do with bowling, you're going to have yourself a new subscriber in a moment. Oh, it's more about nails. It's not snails like a snail, but it's Kate's nails. Well, you've still got a new subscriber. You might see Dylan Werner there from the WYBT side wandering around. Zach Singer and Daron Hansen doing the same, checking out the action from our settee areas, talking to some of the competitors and the parents there. Gustafson almost gets that washout out. Can't quite take out the 10. Rory Clark here on 16, working on a double. Clark has won the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour 3 times. Ooh. Shoots that one right through the face. He'll have a 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 to deal with here. And gets the count there. So again, these singles matches, it's a best of 2 format. We are on a race to 41 total points. Singles, 2-game total pinfall matches. Swing you over here to lanes 11 through 14, where Aubrey Kittle just hit a strike there in the 6th. Gabe Stouty getting his hit on lane 12. You might have been able to hear Zach Singer clapping as a result. He's right down here on just off camera here. By lane 15 is Claire Jacobson. Takes down 10. And Stephanie Jacobson-Landon tuning in from Cape Cod, watching Claire Bear. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Certainly appreciate it. I'm sure Claire Bear appreciates the support. Along with her competitive bowling, she says she also enjoys playing softball. She's a pitcher. And a similar motion. It's certainly not too far-fetched to assume that she's very successful in both. As she kicks out a 6-pin there on a Brooklyn hit. Drake Waite connecting on lane 12. At age 15, I believe he's one of the youngest competitors here at Wagner's today. Luke Winter connecting with a strike of his own. Allison Roberts with a strike in her 8th frame. sliding that thing right to the pocket, but certainly paid off for her as Jacobson responds with a kick on that 4-pin. As we make our way through the day, we'll be joined by the leaders of the respective tours, Daron Hansen and Zach Singer. Talk with them about this event and upcoming events, both Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Yeah, that was nice.
Winter over there on lane 12, working on a 5-bagger. And just pushes it past the break point. Stuck with a 2-4-10 there. Jacobson, after gutter on her first ball, gets things together and converts the spare. You're watching the first matches of the day here at the MJBT WYBT Border Battle at Wagner's Lanes in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. These are best of two, or not best of two, I should say, 2-game total pinfall matches. And this is game 1 right now. And the winners of each of these matches earns their respective tournament tour 1 point. It's a race to 41. And this thing gets won or lost later on this afternoon in our team competition. So Blake Hansen hitting a key strike there on lane 16. Clark hooks it past the 2-pin there in that 210 split. So he's got to punch out for 183. Hansen with 9 spare strike would be right there. So if he hits that first strike in the 10th, it's a lead after one game for him. Gustafson a little high in the pocket, but maximum penalty there over 4-6 split. Drykosen right along that one board, right along that gutter line, brings it in there.
No, the rack was horrible. The rack was terrible. Yeah, that's fine. The rack was, that was too late. That shot was too late.
Gabby Silva over there on lane 18 for the WYBT team. Looks like she's going to enter game 2 a little behind Brittany Cryer, who takes care of the spare on 17.
At 11?
Rory Clark up high, leaving the 6-10. Just takes care of that 7-pin. Now discussing a little strategy with MJBT tournament director Daron Hansen. As long as Hansen keeps it on the lane, he'll have a lead going into the second game of this 2-game match. Cryer is going to enter that second game 40 pins ahead of Silva. Zoe Darwin up through the nose there and moves a 3-6-10. My guy Ben Glascock just got here.
He's here. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here.
No, he knows exactly what he's doing, and check out his channel. It's once this is all said and done, he'll have some excellent content on the Border Battle. There's a couple different channels that will have content here from this event. Ben's being one of them. It's 10-Pin Life on YouTube. And as well as Bowling Insiders with Kale and Tim, the YouTube page from Kale Rush, who is also competing here today. Ben was pumped up about this event from the get-go, which is always good to see. He makes some tremendous bowling videos. Check them out when you have a chance. So Gustafson finishes with a 172. He's going to be behind Dracosin, who's working on a double here. Could shoot 226 if he hits the next two. Wow. Flush pocket, and that ball just zipped right past the 9. But he'll be in the 2 teens, and he'll have a healthy lead over Gustafson going into that second game. As the scores start popping up, we will get you updated. The WYBT will have score updates here for us. As soon as that happens, we'll get you caught up on who's leading, who's winning, who's racking in those all-important points as we work toward crowning a champion here between the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour and the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour. And that direct line working for Roberts just starts out game number 2 with a double. I want to thank everybody who's joining us live and those of you who are watching on replay at the MJBT WYBT Border Battle here at Wagner's Lanes, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Shout to Wagner's for letting me monopolize some of their internet bandwidth and get this thing set up so we can bring you live streaming of the day's events. Roberts to the left and gets that third strike to fall. She's got the first 3. interested in finding out more information about these tournament tours, the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour and the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour, just scroll down in the description. We've got links to both of them right there, along with the format and the schedule for today. This again is a one-day event, so we will crown a champion here, one way or the other, and keep you updated on scores and all that good stuff as we go. Try and move myself around here because we are happy to be joined by Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour Tournament Director Daron Hansen. If I can find my little zipper. There we go.
Ooh.
How's that?
Hey, I hope I didn't break the lens or anything.
I'd say we've got a spare, but no, we're kind of running on a low budget here. What do you think so far about what you've seen?
I think it's great. Seeing a lot of strikes, a lot of kids giving 5 to each other, cheering them on, a lot of team camaraderie. That's what I wanted today to be about. I think it's something that's missing when it's always singles competition. Hopefully it gets kids ready for college because that's all team.
Yeah.
And myself personally, I've always been more of a team competitor. I like team events. I like getting up there in the 10th and throwing a shot when you got 9 of your best friends standing in the set tee behind you. There's a lot more pressure there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If I make a bad shot for a title in a singles event, it's me. If I make a bad shot in a team event, I just upset 9 other guys.
Right.
So,
Sure. When
there's a lot of talent, I'll tell you that much.
oh yeah,
This is fun. This is impressive.
this is good stuff. Excuse the black flash here as we get back to some of the action.
Nobody
but-
needs to see us.
Tell me about you gathered the MJBT team before this thing started. What did you tell those guys next?
I told them that we kind of had this all in play before the season started. So it was going to be kids from last year, all-star team, kids from how they were sitting in points, and then a couple of directors' picks. A lot of the kids were excited right away. A lot of kids started, checking points and like Trey Hendricksmeyer bowls a lot of MJBTs as well, and he chose. So then people are like, "Oh, does that mean I'm in?"
Sure.
So kids were excited about it. I'm excited about it. I haven't been to Wagner since it was 66 lanes. So
And that's going on 20 plus years.
I know, it's pretty amazing. So I missed the hall with the arcade right down here after, before lane 1. And I'm pretty sure after competition, I might have to see if the Bloody Marys are still as good as they were in the 90s.
I can't speak from experience back then because I was too young, but they're still pretty good now.
Well, I mean, I was too young too, but back in them days, there was always somebody willing to help you out.
Right. See, I just didn't know the right people.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah, and I want to thank Dylan and Zach. They're the ones that reached out first to try and come up with this idea, and we collaborated together. Some Zoom calls, some FaceTime meetings, a lot of Google documents going back and forth with ideas, and so yeah, it's been great.
When you say that each team has directors' picks, who were the directors' picks on MJBT side, and why?
So again, as Zach mentioned in the announcements, I'm kind of big on sportsmanship in my old age. When I was this age, I didn't have any sportsmanship. And I know that eliminated me from a lot of opportunities when I was younger. So I'm trying to find kids that are talented, but at the same time are good sportsmen. They all have fire. They all want to win. But even if I don't, and I used to be a proprietor, so I hated it when my league bowlers kicked a ball return. Even though as a bowler myself, when I was younger, I did it all the time. And I'm trying to get wise in my old age. So that's how I picked my two kids. And one was my son. That might sound biased, but he's better. But other parents of competitors have come to me and my wife during MJ competitions, and he's the same way when he plays baseball. He's like, Blake's always, cheering the other kids on or saying good shot or giving them 5, and he's never one to bring them down. He's always trying to pick them up. So for me, that was an easy pick. And he needs to get a little bit more experience, obviously, because even though he won his first game, he's struggling here in the transition.
Yeah.
And then who was my other pick on the guy's side? Dawson Unrath was a pick. On the girl's side, it was Zoe Skinner, I believe. I mean, that was so long ago. I barely remember how I got here last night.
That's an interesting way to get the count.
Yeah.
Works out.
Can we change? Do we got another camera we can go to? He's feeling the pressure. But see, even there, he's gone back-to-back opens, but he's got a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I know when I was 16, I would not have had a smile on my face.
I might not even have a smile on my face now.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's great. I mean, sportsmanship is such a huge part of the game, especially in the team concept.
Yep.
Where, what you do, like you said, has impact on your teammates as well as yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I even see it on the WYBT kids. They're cheering each other on, talking about lane play, the people on the same pair. I just kind of haphazardly put everybody together in the order that they're out there today, but I'm pretty sure Dylan and Zach had a more methodical approach, put kids together. I mean, there was a couple like Zoe and Brittany are really good friends, so I wanted to put them together. Brady and Blake talk a lot. Zach and Dreesen and Lucas Erzrud are, 1 and 2 almost every month. So Lucas has won the last 3 MJBTs. So
Wow.
he's on a hot streak.
Now, he's got to be related to Travis, right?
Correct. It's his son.
That's
Yep.
his son.
Yep.
Okay. Travis competed back when I was in MJBTs. And if you look off to the right now, you can kind of see in the corner of the screen, Kale Rush is working on the front 7, trying to get the 8th here, and splashes out the 5. And Robert Vater, who's right along
behind
with him, has the front 7 as well.
And then Kale, I think, lost to the first game. Obviously trying to come back to win the total pins. But Chase is staying right with him. He's going at 280.
Sure. And again, we're talking with Daron Hansen, the tournament director of the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour. Was there debate at all about the format and how this would turn out?
No, we knew we wanted, singles, doubles team. We wanted an all-day-ish type event. I think that was kind of, if I was gonna do it, so like tomorrow, the WYBT event tomorrow is qualifying as our MJBT event for the month of May. So if I was gonna make kids and parents come out for the weekend, I wanted to make an event out of it.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted to have the singles, doubles team aspect. Dylan and Zach kind of took the format from the Michigan Cup. They came up with the points. I knew I wanted, and that's why we're having lunch together. And then after we're done today, there's a social and the awards banquet afterwards. We'll have to get you a picture of the Border Battle trophy that we had made up.
Yeah, we'll get that on social for sure.
So, it was just great collaboration. Those kids, I'm going to call them kids because they're substantially younger than I am. But with coaching bowling programs and having real jobs and then making time to fit this in. I can't thank them guys enough. All right, Chase. Chase maintained pace. Let's see what Kale does here.
Yeah.
It's a Kale, right?
That's Kale Rush. Yep. He's on 20. You can kind of see that off the corner of the screen.
Number
He
9.
hits number 9.
Can I call him Darth Vader? Is that?
Robert Vader?
Yeah, Darth. We'll just call him Darth.
Okay.
Big Star Wars guy. It's still May.
Yeah.
Star Wars month.
Absolutely. And again, Robert Vader is up on lane 20 right now. You can't really see him in your screen, but you'll see the result off to the right. And he hits 9 in a row. When you mentioned that Trey does both MJBT and WYBT tournaments, he's from Eau Claire. He's got, driving distance on his, I guess, on his side when you talk about that.
For today, yeah.
Yeah. Are others that we see here in either field kind of like that?
Oh, I believe I know Peyton Rowley bowls some Wisconsin events. I don't know if a lot of the kids from the cities. I don't think Lucas makes the drive. Lucas is from basically the Fargo, just Minnesota side of Fargo.
Yeah.
Dawson Unrath is all the way from Bismarck, North Dakota.
Okay.
So they made the drive last night. I don't know what time they left. I think they got in at about midnight or so. So I'm sure Dawson got a nice nap in the car on the way down.
It's Kale Rush hitting his 10th strike in a row. Again, the front 10 for Kale, the front 9 for Robert Vader. And here's Kale Swenson. Trying to keep pace, a little light, splashes out the 10, leaves that 2-8.
I can't remember what the first game differential was.
Yeah.
Well, Chase just gave himself a fist pump, so I don't think we didn't take scores up after the first game.
There's Kale on the right side of your screen, going for number 11, gets out the 9.
I'm still here.
And he needs one more hit to get a perfecto here, our first of the day.
2. So this is kind of like what I'm talking about. I know I watched those guys during practice. They were treating it kind of like, what we do at nationals, at the USBC Open Championships. Take something with a lot of surface out, kind of burn up a spot to throw it to. They definitely did it together. And I think they've moved. They're still playing near the gutter, but they've moved in a little bit and gave themselves a little bit of area to play with.
Yeah. You'll see him come into frame on the right side of your screen here. A little bit light, and he's going to end up with 298, but a heck of a game. And again, Robert Vader on the same lane has the front 9. So he'll have a shot at it too. Meanwhile, Swenson's going to have a game in the upper 260s. Could be at 268. Daron, maybe you can tell us a little bit about, how these competitors and parents, get kids into the MJBT. If there are people out watching who think, hey, my kid probably up his game a little bit, up his or her game, and compete against some of Minnesota's best, what do they do?
All you have to do is MJBT.org. I do not have next year's schedule out there yet, but we do have the ability to sign up online, all of our rules. I'm always available via text, Facebook message, email. I try to be as responsive as possible when I can, when day job isn't getting in the way of stuff. We have the ability to sign up and pay right online. You can sign up for multiple tournaments at once. I do have a lot of parents that do that. Our format is different than the WYBT. It's when I was in juniors, they were called the JCBAs. And our format was 8 games qualifying, top 8 round robin match play, and then a step ladder. We were there till 9 o'clock at night. I feel like it had to have been. Our format now is a little bit different.
There's the
11.
Yep, for Robert Vater, and some of the other folks from both Wisconsin and Minnesota are gathering around right now to get a peek at his last shot. Again, you'll see him come into frame as he gets into his approach here.
He's going to take the PBA re-rack to bring his heart rate down a little bit.
I like that move. All right, he's just getting himself set, and watch as he comes into the frame on the right side.
There it is.
And there it is, 300 game for Robert Vater. Accepting some congratulations there from both the Minnesota and Wisconsin sides. And
I want to know how many practice sessions they had on the patterns. That's what I want to know.
I want to know what Rory was doing right in front of my camera as he was. We'll have to ask him about that later. Stephanie Jacobson Landon chiming in says, so much fun watching these kids roll. Go Team Minnesota from your family in Massachusetts. So they're watching from all over the country.
Look at you, Fef, growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah. I wish I could say it's my incredible reach, but I think it's your incredible reach.
I don't think so.
They've got these people here.
I did have a lot of once your link went live, I had a lot of parents texting me and emailing me, can I get the link? My parents want to watch it. And so we greatly appreciate you coming here today.
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome.
Like I said in the intro, I mean, this is fun for me just to see the literal future of the sport here, competing in what is my, I guess, you could say my hometown.
Yeah.
Kind of by proxy. My wife isn't going anywhere, which means I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
But no, this is a great event, and it really has, I don't know about other alums, but it certainly has me, kind of reminiscing back to the days when I'd shoot Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour events or Wisconsin Scholarship Bowling Club. You really looked forward to those monthly events, and there was a lot of pride that came with, for me, getting the best of guys like Brent Prentice, Pat Humphrey, Jason Lutkin. This never happened, by the way. And on the Wisconsin side, I competed against Todd Filter, Dave Barris, Ed Smaglick.
Sure.
It really doesn't matter what state you're from. If you want the competition, you're going to find it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I look at the people that I grew up with: Scott Pohl, David Langer, Chad Nelson, Dan Bach.
Man.
I mean,
it's a murderer's row.
Yeah, exactly. It was amazing. So it made you bowl better. It made you want to get better. And I'm hoping that's what some of these kids look forward to.
Yeah. You see the winning, and it's infectious. You got to have some for yourself, and that makes people put in the work, have that desire, and and really put the pedal down.
All right, I'm going to go help collect scores.
All right,
I'll send one of the other guys down during doubles.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks for the time, Daron Hansen, tournament director from the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour, giving us some insight about not only the border battle here, but also the tournaments that he's running in Minnesota. Matt Miller saying congratulations on the 300 and 298. Just an excellent performance there on 19 and 20 for Cale Rush and Robert Vater from the Wisconsin side. Hansen flagging the 10 there in the 10. But Clark has really got this one wrapped up. I'll admit it's a little tough for me in this format to let you know who's winning these matches, just because you got to do quick math and have a better memory than I do. As Gustafson pushes that messenger right in front of the 10. And again, the folks on the WYBT side are tabulating scores, figuring out point totals, and they will update that on their spreadsheet online. As soon as they do, we'll pull that up here on the live stream and give you a look at the boys and girls who are wrapping up points for their teams and those who have yet to get on the board. So Matt mentions it took him 11 years to get his first 300, and these kids seem to do it maybe once or twice a month. Yeah, it certainly seems that way, doesn't it? It took me even longer than that. It's, the hard truth of it is it takes some people a long time to get that first 300. As Gustafson finishes off a 234. Yeah, it can take a long time to get that first 300 and break through. And, another thing I want to mention is this is a pretty difficult condition that these kids are navigating here. So, to shoot those big scores, and granted, the patterns certainly don't look like this anymore after 2 games of play. But as Daron mentioned, some of these kids have the wherewithal to, talk with their teammate, carve out a little area to hit, and then whack them. And that's exactly what we saw out of Cale Rush and Robert Vater. Tricosin trying to strike here to get into the 190s, carries out the 10. So he gets some support from his Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour teammates. And looking up and down the house, one of the Triskies is finishing up her match on 5 and 6, and other than that, Tricosin, the only one left in singles match competition. Everybody else taking a little break, waiting for the doubles to start. And Tricosin finishes strong, 196, hitting the last 4 strikes. Congratulations all around. And that'll do it for the singles portion of this. As we get ready for the doubles, I'm going to step away for just a second. I'll have the microphone off, so you won't hear any audio, but we'll be back in just a second to get things started with doubles competition here at the MJBT WYBT Border Battle. All right. So Matt saying you guys take care. Thanks again for the live stream. He says he'll be back in a little bit. Got to take care of a few things. Yeah. Yeah, we've got some housekeeping on this end too. So we are kind of waiting for things to get configured for doubles competition here. And in the doubles, it'll be a Baker format. Best of 5 games will determine the winner. And winning each match will earn the player's tournament tour 2 points. We hope to have those point totals updated soon here.
Andy and Bolson. Last time I bowled one, I made it into match back and jumped in like 8 spots.
I game land and I was throwing my Zen game 1 and surprisingly it worked. Because Zen is shit.
You want me to sit down?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get our camera switched up here so we can actually see you. It's a weird angle, and I told Daron we're kind of on a low budget thing here, but happy to have Robert Vater from Team Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour, here with us. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
300.
Yep.
Tell me about kind of making your way, what you saw in that pair, and what it was like.
In practice, I threw the Nova up the gutter. I mean, that's a play today, up the gutter, and then I switched to phase 2 a little bit at the end of practice and striking a lot. So I wanted to start with that, and then it was just like a little too quick down lane. If I got it, into the dry too quick, it would go high. And so I switched to Nova for a little bit, but it forced me a little farther left, and then it was like too slow off of the end of the pattern. And so I decided to go back to the phase 2 and move left, and then played a little more of that oil. And I mean, there's plenty of room out there. So it's really all about just like being in the right spot. I mean, you can just watch my 10th frame. You don't really have to throw like the greatest of shots. So, but yeah.
Yeah. It looked to us, up here, like, you and Kale are kind of working together to kind of open things up a little bit.
Yeah. We talked because he changed balls in his fill ball, and we were also both there just like for like emotional support of each other and stuff. But yeah.
I got to ask you quick, who won the sweeper last night? I wasn't there late.
Gavin Supernant.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
He won by almost 100 or so because it was total pins for 10 games. So yeah, really good bowling by him.
All right. Well, you got to go practice. Thank you for the time, and congratulations.
Yeah.
Best of luck in the rest of the.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You bet. Again, that's Robert Vater, who just finished off a 300 game in the singles portion of the Border Battle today. Let's look at, again, the Border Battle format for the doubles competition. This is the Baker format. Best of 5 games going to determine the winner of each of these matches.
Congratulate 2 high games that we had. Both on the 19 with a 298 game was KO Rush. And with the Border Battle's first ever 300 game, Robert Vater. And they were both on the same.
A little recognition for both Robert and for Kale Rush, who came up with a 298 in that last game. He's giving me, you're on the wrong camera, Kale. Try this one. Try this one. He's giving me the thumbs down. Thumbs down, he failed. If that's failing, I got to see some success. Because 298 is a whale of a game. So, and we do have some updates here as far as point totals and things of that nature. So we'll bring that up as long as we're waiting here. So the WYBT up 17-3 early on the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour. Now, you know there's a long way to go in this, but you know, you go down the line here. Zach Andreessen taking a singles match from Trey Henriksmeyer, but then after that, it's Supernan, Malish, Hull, Winter, Stouty, all getting wins. Drykosen, Rory Clark, Robert Vater. Yeah, the guys really, really putting the pedal down. And then on the girls' side, same thing going on. Starkey, Whipple, Curtis, all with wins. And Kittle, Roberts, Silva, Darwin, Fire, and Elke with Callie Trisky getting the lone MJBT win on the ladies' side. You know, I love a good surprise, and
Sometimes you just got to jump in and see what's up.
Sometimes we are blessed with fantastic guests.
Oh,
this
boy.
is one of those times. This is Ben from 10 Pin Life. I'm gonna
Hi,
try and get
everybody.
my microphone
Oh, you're
out
good.
of the
No
shot
one wants
here.
to see my face.
Yes, we do.
They just like the other side of my lens.
How you doing today?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good to see you.
I'm glad you're down here, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you're down here
It's
because I can't wait to see what you come up with.
I don't know what I'm gonna come up with yet. It's one of those days where there's so much talent in such a short amount of time. It's like, how do you do it justice?
Yeah.
You know, because what you're doing, right, is like, I'm really glad you're doing it, and it's like, man, I wish it was the whole place.
Yep. So do I.
Because there's so much.
So do I. And as we saw in that last game, I mean, they're far enough over that we can just kind of see the result.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it would have been better to be down there. You were down there.
I was.
What was it like?
Well, the pair looks like a pair I'd want to bowl on because, and not to discredit, because they actually bowled really well.
Yeah.
It did. They did a good job of wearing that pair in. Like, that's really the long and short of that. Is it started hard, and then they did the right thing, and it got easy.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something that you don't expect out of kids at all. You know, because we got here is when practice was starting, and they hooked a ton, and I'm like, but they're all staying right. And I was legitimately impressed, because most of the time you'll see kids just move left and just bang on something, the most aggressive, most hook and ball they got.
Yep.
And everybody stayed right. So now I think that this doubles round with this best of 5 and Baker, like, we could see some really big scores.
Yep.
When you think about putting Braden Malish and Robert Vater on the same team, and Trey Henriksmeyer and Brendan Hall on the same team, and I don't know many of the kids from the Minnesota side, so I apologize. I don't mean to exclude, but like, some of these pairings are pretty dang talented. And these lanes, especially now that they had that like 10, 15 minutes to really settle, now that hook spot that's to the outside, probably going to get a little bit better. The hold, because there was a decent amount of urethane kind of across the house, probably going to stick in. So I would expect some big numbers here. At least I hope so.
Yeah, we're going to see these guys moving left, these ladies moving left.
Yes.
And,
yep.
You know, especially on the guys' side, you're going to see those high rev players really take advantage of
absolutely
of that hook spot, like you said.
Yep.
I would be remiss if I didn't tell people where they can go.
Look at this guy.
To see your content. Once you
yeah.
have it up, 10 Pin Life on YouTube.
It's still there, I promise.
It's there, and it's been there, and Kale and I were discussing your journey last night.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic. I mean, what's it like for you to see the results of your hard work?
It's been interesting for sure. You know, it's one of those things that the content has kind of been a reflection of my life too, where it's like, in the middle of all of that, my wife and I had our second kid who is now over a year old, and he's walking around and he's just all giggles and shits, literally. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the naughty words, but it's been good. I got a really big content plan for around the beginning of the season. I'm gonna try and take it a little bit easy this summer. I'm trying to actually stay out of some bowling centers a little bit for the first time since like COVID, and even still, I don't know. It's weird. Like, but our oldest son just turned 4, so he's playing t-ball. So that's my big goal. But yeah, I'm gonna do a short film, which I already have written. I just have to produce it. I've got some different stuff I'm gonna do with my youth bowlers for some fundraiser type content. So hopefully that goes over pretty well. But yeah, it's been good. Like, honestly, this whole thing with 10-Pin Life was just, it was all about experimenting and seeing just different ways to love the game. I didn't know that when I started it, but looking back, hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Sure.
And looking back on it, a lot of it's just been, okay, how can I challenge myself in a context in which I have a lot of knowledge and experience to do something different. And now I'm really going to push that envelope coming into this next season and just do stuff that people haven't ever seen before. There is one other really, really big one that I'm keeping under wraps because when people see it, I think it's gonna change the expectation of bowling media across the board, like all the way up to the upper echelons. And I don't mean that to toot my own horn or anything like that, but let's just say the probable player of the year is going to have the deepest look into what it took of any look ever in professional bowling.
Okay.
So if that doesn't excite people, I don't know what will.
I like that. The art of the tees is not lost
yeah.
on Ben and 10-Pin Life.
But yeah, it's going to be a good time. So how about you, man? You got any big guests on the horizon here? Or are we?
I'm still, trying to grind them out.
Yeah.
Get people on the show. And hey, if you're watching and you're interested in talking about your bowling story, hit me up. You can find me on Facebook or bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com. We do a live show every week and would love to talk bowling with you live on this channel. It's a great time. Ben can tell you.
Absolutely. There's no better interviewer in the game, if you ask me. I'm going to be real honest. The fact that you survived a Randy Peterson interview is a contest to that, my man. That was impressive because he is a character, to say the least. And he's one of those guys that, he's been around for so long. He's seen I'm sure he's seen hundreds of people flounder in and out. So he just doesn't necessarily take a whole lot of stuff serious, and he's just living his own life. And you just did it, man. I was so impressed when I watched that. But no, you're well versed in doing good interviews and knowing what to talk about, and even not that I mean this to be a connection, but even the one that you did with Ernie Schlegel, like you could tell he kind of just had all these thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I know personally I would have struggled because it was like he's going off this way. All right, we can we'll go and it was just like this gentle coax back to where some of the other ideas that you had, and it was impressive. That's an art, man, and you're good at it.
Well,
so
coming from you, that means a ton.
I like to give credit where it's due, and you do a very good job. So yeah, if anybody's out there and they want to talk about it, that's the other big thing is you're not afraid of the size of the story, big, small, or otherwise. And there's so much. I'm a big proponent of, even just centers like Wagner's here, right? Locally owned, 26 lanes. Is the earth going to change because Wagner's exists? Probably not. But I'm much more a proponent of centers like this, and because it's small, because it creates a atmosphere where people can have a fulfilling portion of their life, be in a place like this. And I struggle to find that in corporate centers, which would be like your bigger stories, right? Like not every interview can be Anthony Simonson.
Right.
It's not fair to expect that out of anybody. So you do a good job of giving credit to the people that want to tell their story, no matter how big it is. And I think that they deserve to have it be heard too, because that matters just as much. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you for the compliments.
Yeah,
Like I
man.
said, that means a ton. And, I love the part of this that allows me to talk to content creators like yourself.
Yeah.
We've got one coming up with Coach Randy Brown, Prodigy Bowlers Tour, which
Awesome.
is another one you should
Yes.
definitely check out on YouTube if you haven't already. But it's cool for me to hear those stories, and you doing what you do keeps me pushing hard,
Yeah.
and I hope vice versa.
It absolutely does. And I think that we're seeing more and more of that. This last, PBA Tour season's pretty much wrapped up at this point. They got the Super Slam this weekend, but I think a lot of those guys are falling into that same boat where, last season there was Brad and Kyle and there was Daron. And now this year there's 7 or 8 guys that are really trying to push to create content, and some of them will fall off the wagon, and that's just the way that sort of goes. But it's all, I like the idea of having friendly competition, because it's not like I'm trying to beat anybody and you're trying to beat anybody specifically.
Sure.
But if it's just that idea of, well, if he can do it, that means I can too, or she can do it, I can too. And now that the PWBA is pushing on it as well from their level, I said it 2 years ago that bowling needed to take the control into their own hands and start making stuff and pushing and just giving people content. Because if I can go and drive to Ohio and do the stuff that I did, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Which was awesome, by the way.
Thank
that
you.
Tournament of Champions run that you had.
I just was like, I should just go and I should just see what happens. And that turned into a channel that's got 10,000 subs in a few months, really.
Yep.
Like, that means that there's a lot of people that can do this. And because I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not doing anything that's super out there. Now I'm trying to now, which will probably get way less views. It'll probably be way less received, right? But that doesn't mean that's me. That's a me thing, right? That's me just trying to do stuff that I want to do, which has been my whole journey. But there's a lot of people that want bowling content, and if you're interested in it and you're ready to experiment and try something, there's a lot of bowling that happens too.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of stories that happen. So I say give it a run and let's have some fun.
Yeah. Even in small town Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin,
Yeah.
we're based out of, you get 10-pin life bowling insiders, Kale and Tim,
Mhm.
and
And yourself.
and myself, and we try to keep things interesting. And
Well, even take like Robert Vater, right? Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't do YouTube, but he's been one of the most consistent people in bowling on Instagram content. It's simple, and it's but like he's posted over 1,000 shots of himself on One Strike a Day as his Instagram account, and just the persistence of being able to do that, and also him just shoving a phase 2 up 10 right now is kind of ridiculous. And I just respect it, just to have the patience, and that like I said, persistence is really the big one that stands out to me. And now Braden, I believe, is doing it, and there's just so I think there's another one. He's sitting. I can't think of his name. I'm terrible with names.
yeah,
But
Braden's is out of the cut.
yep, Braden's, because he's got the YouTube thing. Yep.
And he just recently announced that he's committing to Wichita State.
Which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Like, a couple summers ago, up in Merrill, Wisconsin, of all
yeah.
places, right? Like,
Home of the U-boat.
if you're not from Merrill, you probably don't know where Merrill is. But He drove over every Wednesday or Thursday, I don't remember which day of the week it was, to bowl very, very simple scratch things that were on somewhat sport patterns. And he drove, like, it was hours that he drove to bowl 4 games.
Jeez.
And he ran everybody over, and he was nowhere near the bowler that he is today. So, like, to watch him convert all of that time and energy into going to one of arguably the most storied franchise in bowling history, I think, one, it's well deserved, but 2, it's just flat impressive, and I think he's absolutely going to kill it there. To have him and Ryan Barnes on the same team, and I believe there's a couple other big names on that team, but like, it's just going to be ridiculous, especially coming off of winning this year. You know, he's going to a title holder. They've won however many Helmer Cups, and it's impressive.
And you're seeing the quality right now, not only of the shot making with these two, Malish and Vater, but quick high five, attaboy, chase down that 4-pin.
Yeah.
Well,
and Robert went from, he bowled at the ITCs on the varsity team for Whitewater as a freshman, the defending champ. Like, it's
a lot of weight to that.
There really is, and when it's one of those things that it doesn't necessarily get a ton of attention, and I get why, right? Like, bowling isn't the flashiest sport in the world. It's very nuanced. If you don't understand lane play and oil patterns and bowling balls and how momentum works on a team and Baker style, all these things, right? And when you're in the bowling world, it all makes sense because you're just around it all the time.
Right.
When you're external to it, it's very complicated. So I get why there isn't a ton of attention. But when you're in it and you see those 2 kids doing what they're doing at 19 years old, not even 19, it is flat impressive, because you're looking at 2 kids that very realistically in 5 years they have the potential to be top performers at the professional level. There's not a doubt in my mind that there's multiple bowlers in this building. Rory Clark, right? He's not here, but lefty. Big lefty. He's not big. He's got real long. Riley Schwartz. There we go. Gavin Supernand. All these kids, like Gabe Stouty. All these kids, it's just like, where did all this freaking talent come from? And I'll be honest, I started bowling when I was 23. Like, legitimately, I never stood a chance. I never cared to stand a chance. I just wanted to have fun. These kids are worlds ahead of what I will ever be able to do to a bowling ball, and they're 16 to 18 years old. It's unbelievable. So it's just another one of those things where you just kind of give credit where it's due and just appreciate it as it's happening too. Just say thank you to whatever bowling gods allowed us to see this happen. And as Braden is just, I don't understand how that's working. Because it's hooking at the arrows, and then it's just lumbering up there and just running them straight back. How are you doing that? Because you're just that good?
Yeah.
Well, was why I asked. Like, you just shoved that one, it hooked at 10 feet, and then you stopped it.
But we've seen the 2-handed style for a while now.
Yeah. For sure.
But it never ceases to amaze me the different interpretations that these guys have on it. Guys like Braden and Robert, how smooth they are, how solid they are at the line. It's not like, the fluid swing. It's not like every 2-hander is like that, but when you see it, it's just incredible.
It makes me not like, this is a thought that I'm having in the moment, so I apologize if this gets a little bit rambly. But think about the history of bowling and the way that the styles evolved.
Oh yeah.
You go from Dick Weber, who is very straight armed. That rack is terrible for Vater on 15, but he'll pack it. It's fine.
Yeah, you called that.
So you go from Dick Weber and, Team Budweiser, all those guys pretty much bowled the same, to Don Carter, who had a ton of elbow bend. And all that happened within 5 years. And Don Carter did that to spin the ball more. Don Carter, then you go to Mark Roth, who spun the ball harder than anybody had up to that point. They wanted to call him a cheater. They thought he was cheating because he just rammed on it. Then you get into Marshall Holman. Then you get into, there's a little bit of a gap there, but then you get to Pete. Then you get into, you kind of skip the 90s a little bit because Pete kind of just ran everybody over at that point.
Between Pete and Walter.
And Walter was, he was his own style, right? He just threw horseshoes, but he just happened to have a bowling ball on his hand. And then you get into Tommy Jones. Then you get into really the next one after that, because a lot of people emulated Tommy's game was the two-handed thing. But what some in the ball, right? You go from Dick Weber to Tommy Jones. You think about all the guys that made these little changes, the things that worked for them and the things that allowed them to knock the pins over more and more effectively. Two-handed bowling is less than 10 years old.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a full 10. We haven't even begun to see the evolution of two-handed bowling.
Right.
And it's crazy to think that way, but history tells us that bowlers will find more ways to knock pins over. And two-handed bowling has, one, increased the interest at the youth level exponentially.
Oh, absolutely.
And that means that you're going to have 14-year-old kids that are just trying as hard as they can to figure out what works for them, and somebody's going to figure it out. Look at what Simonson's even doing, right? He's 26 years old, and he's two-handed, and he really doesn't play that far left, ever. He can just flat rocket it, and it works. Yeah. Whereas Belmo, when you think about his TOC run and when he really went on that hot major run, he was just outbending everybody. Well, now everybody's doing it.
Yep.
They're all doing it. So I'm very, again, as a spectator, curious and excited to see where two-handed bowling goes, especially when you consider it in the historical context, because I think it does allow the opportunity to see some significant evolution. The next one's going to be in the girls' side of the game, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's sure. The next one. Bella Castillo, she's 15 or 16 years old, and obviously her big push is on social media, and she's done a phenomenal job of that, but she's also winning, right? It's not a fluke that she has the following that she has.
I do want to mention 266, 247 in that first game, Minnesota.
Thank you. I thought about that as I looked up, and I'm like, we should probably talk about the actual bowling that's happening rather than listening to me ramble on.
We got time.
We do.
We got plenty of time.
Honestly, 247 losing with a 247 kind of sucks, but best of fives. This is the long game right now.
Yep. Sure.
It's moving lanes. Transition's gonna get weird. I do think that they're gonna start to open up a lot.
Sure.
I was surprised with how far right they were to start there, but yeah, man, it's two-handed bowling's gonna come to the women's scene. Somebody's gonna pull a Belmo on the PWBA tour and just run everybody over for 3 years. I don't know who it's gonna be,
but then you'll get more and more.
You'll get the balance,
and you probably get what Randy was talking about in that interview about when are we going to see the power game take over the PWBA?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming. Because, Daria was kind of the first. Well, not the first, but she's the current big hand.
Yep.
But look at what Wendy McPherson did in the 90s. She could hit it harder than anybody, and she won because of it.
Right.
Now, the conditions weren't always conducive to that power game being the right play. You had your there were just a lot of other bowlers that were much softer handed, but they were really, really, really good shot makers. And that's, a lot of times that's what played. Unfortunately, I think the shutdown of that women's tour for what it was really put a big damper on that evolution, but it doesn't mean it's going to not come.
Right.
It's on its way. Because all you got to do is look at the volume of bowlers on the girls' side at junior gold. There's a lot. The women made a huge decision at the beginning of the 2022 season to distribute their prize funds more evenly, which makes bowling on the women's tour way more accessible for not beginners, but the less experienced bowler, because they're not just going to go broke if you can bowl decent. That was to me one of the biggest moves that they could have made. Big shout out to Brianna Cote, head of the players committee on that one, and making that happen. I wasn't in the room, but I know that she was a big part of it.
Yeah, and knowing that, hey, this isn't going to, make things great right away.
Yeah.
But over time,
yes,
you'll see the results.
It's the long game for sure. And to his credit, when because I went to the World Championship show for the men, and not that. Oh my gosh! Did you see that? When you're good, Braden. Flex it out, kid. I just want you to strike. I don't care how. So you're killing it. For those that might not have seen, he definitely just tripped out a 3-6-10.
Okay.
Or 3-6-7. 3-6-7. 3-6-7 you tripped off. Good job. I don't know how, but it worked. Because we need something else to talk about. We're dry on content today.
We've gotten from Dick Weber to the state of the women's tour, and
this is my brain every day, Beth. I'm sorry, my man, but no, it's So post match interview with Belmo, Phil Brylow was talking up prize funds, because at that point Belmo had made over $200,000 that season, on a season that he hasn't won as much, right? Yeah. Like he's for him, it is an underperformance, which is wild to think.
it is.
And to Belmo's credit, he didn't really like the question. He didn't. It was like, yeah, I'm glad that I can do that. And that's bowling karma right there, as he just slings a messenger at the 10 pin and just flat whiffs it. Belmo's response was more like, I'm glad that I can, but I wish that this money went further down, because there's a lot of guys that are really good out here that aren't making anything, and they deserve to. When you think about, I don't want to single the guy out, but Brad Miller didn't cash this year.
That is wild.
He's a damn good bowler, and he didn't cash once.
That's incredible.
So
incredibly bad for him, but you would assume that he'd cash more than he wouldn't.
Right. And there is a big part of that all the oil patterns and a lot, the conditions, they were extremely conducive to three guys running everybody over.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that they should be the only ones up there too. So I would like to see that shift as well on the men's side, where the money moves down a little bit. I like the 100,000. It's a pretty number. It sells tickets to shows and all that, but I think it would be cool to see a little bit more distribution, because what it does in the long run is it takes a kid that just graduated college and might not be the best bowler in the world, or the MVP of the ITCs, and it still allows that bowler the opportunity to consider bowling on the tour.
Yeah.
Because
you got to know that there's a future.
You have to know that there's at least a chance to just not go throw a pile of money into a fire.
Yep.
And I think that they'll make that shift. I hope that they make that shift. It's out of our hands, unfortunately, but it'll be fun to see how that develops after this next year. I think the players committee will likely have a lot to say about the fact that Simo and EJ basically took everyone's money.
Yep.
They earned everyone's money, but they took it, and it'll it might change the conversation. You never know.
You know what's funny to me is that a moment ago, we saw Vater back it up at the washout.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, we would have been losing our minds over that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you think about the U.S. Open where half the two-handers were backing it up off the left side. Yeah.
And now it's
a norm.
It's what happens.
It's evolution, man. That was one of those moments where you do what you have to do to get all 10 pins to knock over, and then everyone sees it. And it's like, I wonder, would that work for me? Also, big shout out to gal on lane 14. I missed her last name there, but she's got the rose in the bowling ball, the spare ball, the kingpin special, Jade Elke.
And just took down the 310.
Yep, it's perfect.
That's a good segue. We can throw that thing up so we can switch over to the other
We
camera.
I just got back from Reno a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to somebody, but all I could think, when you walk in the stadium there, and it's different than it used to be without having nearly as much stadium seating and all that. But all I could think of was, man, it had to be so much fun in this place when they filmed that movie.
Oh yeah.
Like the names and just the shenanigans that had to have gone on when you put those late 80s, early 90s guys in the same room as Bill Murray and Woody Harrelson, that had to have been the biggest party in bowling history. Oh, it's so good.
Sure.
Also, the stadium is beautiful again.
Is it?
It is. They did a very good job of cleaning that place up, and
I've never been.
Yeah.
Neither old nor new. But someday when it doesn't cost quite so much to get out there.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Reno is more expensive now than I think it's ever been in its entire existence.
Yep.
Holy cats. Every meal was $25. It's just, yeah. It was fun though.
Yeah, I bet.
Bowling well helped.
I had two teens ask me if I'd come out, and I just couldn't justify it this time around, but hopefully next year in Vegas. We'll see.
Vegas is a lot easier to get to. It's a lot easier to kind of stomach from a cost perspective too, and it'll be interesting. So what else we got going on down here? All right, we need a double on I was going to say Abigail needed to double in the 10th on 18 there to bring home a win, but just dead wraps a 10 pin. I don't know who won the first game over there, but we're to the left. We should look to the left, Fef.
That's okay. I like that because we can't see what's going on over there, so it's more content. It's more for you, the viewer. Sell yourself short. I know that was by design.
Yeah, definitely on purpose. Accidentally on purpose, they say.
So, Rittenauer finishes things off there. $158 for the Minnesota side, and I didn't catch who was leading after one, so it's hard to put that into context.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is they are tracking scores, and once they put them up online, we'll bring them to you so you can be updated with the point totals after this doubles competition.
Hey, way to get that dub. Good job. Is that 1-1 now? 1-1?
Again, with the doubles, you have the best of 5, which determines the winner, and then winning each match earns the player's respective tournament tour 2 points. So twice as important, you could say.
Oh, it's double the points?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. So is Baker 5 points per match then too?
The team?
Yeah.
I think it's 10.
Ooh, it's going to get hot in here later.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I believe it's 10.
See, this is what happens when you don't do that pre-research like Fef does, is you just kind of show up and you hope that you know what's happening.
Don't give me too much credit because I'm one graphic short that I'm going to have to catch up on during the break.
Lots of time between now and then, Fef. Lots of it.
This is 10 points for each match won.
This game, I think, is going to be kind of a tell-all for all of these matches, right? Jumping back to the lane you start on, you saw some transition on the other lane. So, I mean, it's just like in any, like if it's a best-of-5 series in baseball, like Game 3, especially if you're on a 1-1, like that's kind of the decider.
Sure.
And jumping back to the lane, after it got beat on a little bit, but this one's all about execution, and this is my phrase. Fef probably doesn't agree with this, and it's okay. But this is one of those matches where spares don't win much, and I'll save the vulgarity. But there's going to be a lot of X's up on the board this game, right? Like the Wisconsin girls between Mackenzie and Jade, they've already got the front 3 because they went back to the lane that they know, and they're throwing it well, right? It's not just because they've got the information. Like that Braden leaving a 4-pin there. That could be the one.
Sure.
So it'll be interesting. Down on 19 and 20, Rory and Luke Winter are going against. Looks like, is that Ryan? No.
No, that's Zach Andreessen.
Zach Andreessen. I can't see their last names. But either way, Zach and them are on the front 7, right? There's a lot of X's on the board this game.
Yeah.
I'm still stunned about how far right these guys are. There's no shortage of rev rate right now, and they are still right of third arrow. So shout out to Wagner's for putting something out that holds up.
Yeah.
Because that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's a little different now than it will be this afternoon.
For sure.
But these are the patterns, at least as we started. The one on the left there that you're seeing is the original pattern. A lot different now, but like Ben said, it gives them enough so that they can stay right.
You know what? One of the things, and one of the big reasons why I like coming out to stuff like this, and I respect all of these kids, is you could put out something dead flat. You could put out that old school U.S. Open 1-to-1 40-foot. Pray to God you hit the head pin pattern, and they would all just love it.
They know how to carve it up.
They would love it. And when you're, because I'm 31, and it's hard for me to find stuff that's hard to bowl on in a tournament setting like this. And all of these kids are like, I don't want to bowl on a house shot. I don't want to bowl on something that's easy. Make me have to make some shots. And that just brings me so much joy that they don't want the gravy train. They don't want the carry fest. They want to have to work for it and make the better bowler win. And they're super respectful about it. You never see any sort of big conflicts or anything between these kids, or there's not some stupid unnecessary rivalry or whatever. Like, this is just good fun competition, and they're doing it on stuff where they really have to bowl. This isn't strike, this is bowl.
Yep.
And as Andreessen just went front 11, I should probably go over there. I'll be right back.
All right. And you can kind of see Zach come into frame there. He's bowling on lane 20. So you will see him on the right side of the frame as he starts his approach. That's the same pair that we saw the big scores from Cale Rush and Robert Vater in the singles portion. So again, a doubles match, and this is Andreessen, last ball in the 10th. He's got the front 11. He's on lane 20. Let's see what he does. There he is on the right side of your frame. And aces it. So a two-man Baker 300 on the Minnesota side with Zach Andreessen doing the honors. Freddie
That
for the
was
cheddar.
perfect. That was so good.
Yeah.
Absolutely aced that one. Good for him.
Yeah. I was saying same pair that Vater and Rush had their big games on.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right. Note to self for next year, Fef.
19
Set
and
up
20?
on 19 and 20.
Yep.
That's 2 in 1 game. Braden is making fun of his spare game. I've already plugged it. I'll plug it again. It's fine. But you don't win tournaments making spares. You'll lose tournaments leaving opens. That is the thing, man, that I get so much flack about that, but I don't care. I love it. I love it. I didn't wear my shirt today. Maybe I should have. I'd have had some weird looks out of some parents, though.
Yeah.
Gavin, you got a beautiful back of your head. Gavin, I really like looking at the back of your head. It does look great. I'm really glad you brushed your hair this morning. Good job. So 240s out of Vater and Malish. I believe that's already a win, right? 40. Yeah. Good job. Way to strike. 5 baggers are the beans. Oh, get that right. That rack is terrible, by the way.
I got some dead.
I told Fef next year he's got to set up on 19 and 20. Clearly, it's the gravy. It's the gravy pair in the house. Yep. I think we actually got. Let's see, 5th. Minnesota girls on 13 and 14. If they can double here, they're in a really good spot, but they really, really need a double. Peyton Rowley. That is not a name I've heard before.
Flip it over there a little bit.
Looks like she's throwing it's either an archetype. I think that's an archetype. Get up the hill. Gosh, she threw that so well, too. I think the fronts might be burning up on that lane. I do also want to give credit to the tournament directors with having lane moves and putting the girls on the girls' pairs. It's one of those little things that, like, if you didn't think about it, you wouldn't think about it. But also, like, transition is so much different between the girls and the boys. And I when it happened, I was like, you know what? Respect. That's just one of those things. It could have gotten missed, and it didn't get missed. And I love the fact that it didn't.
Yeah. You mentioned Peyton Rowley. She signed a letter of intent to attend Valparaiso University this last December.
Awesome.
So a great move for her bowling future. I'm sure Coach Washington will love to have her around in Valparaiso, Indiana.
Is that going to get off the spot? Oh, 2. Oh, runs the 4 outs. Yes. Atta girl. Elizabeth Rittenauer on that one. That was a great shot. She's got a good game. Hi, Trey. How'd you do? Good job.
My low count today is still 9.
Yeah, but you got a few of those. That's good. Oh, see,
nice
see,
break.
I told you we needed a double here.
Yeah.
Now
They're feeling it.
if they double, they win. Or actually, maybe she just. My bowling math is terrible. I think she just needs one. See, Trey Hendricksmeyer coming in clutch with the bowling math. See,
I think she needs two.
I'm pretty sure she needs. She needs two because of the count. Yeah. Or maybe, yeah, I think you're right. See, as Elizabeth puts one up here. Oh, she got that left again. Hold. Oh,
Sure
that was
did.
aced. Aced at a girl. Trey and I have a little bit of a running joke. Number one, I love making fun of Trey because it's a mutual respect thing. He makes fun of me all the time, rightfully so. I deserve it. But one of my favorite things to make fun of Trey is sometimes he's a bowling artist and sometimes he's a bowling autist, because he knows way too much and he remembers way too many things. So, care to comment?
Yes. Remember when I told you what ball I picked up and
Yeah.
put on the racket or swapping on like a year ago?
It was like 2 or 3 years ago at that point.
And it was exactly
Yeah.
how many shots.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Yeah, no, that's when we edge on autist, not
Yes.
artist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, loft in the fronts with purple's smart today.
Is that what you're doing
That's-
still?
I was chucking it over the first 10
Sure.
feet. It was
One of them
really fun.
green dot purples too.
Oh yeah, 2019.
2019. OG Mexico.
360 baby.
360? See, I know a few kids, or actually, and adults, they refuse to sand their purple hammers. If you can tilt it, it does.
I can tilt it nicer. Why would you? This is point of urethane.
Is it urethane? Is it? Sure. Okay. I just got one, so I'm not touching it. Yeah.
It's magical, whatever it is.
It's different, man. That ball, when it's right, it's a cheater ball for sure. But you lofted the messenger? Yeah. Well, that's the Wagner special. If you're not throwing pins across the deck, you're doing something wrong. How about that, though? Elizabeth on lane 14 puts up that first one. Props to Trey on his bowling math. He was right.
Wow. That's right.
Good job. Proud of
were
you.
wrong.
But yeah, they put that 3-bagger up when they needed it, man. I think that match might be over. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of energy going on into this next one. So I think the Minnesota girls might have actually swept that one. So a little bit of comeback here. Yeah, I love this format across the whole tournament too, right? The points thing and just you're never out of it till you're out of it sort of thing.
Daron was saying they patterned it off of something in Michigan, but it also, Lake Michigan Cup.
Yep.
It also kind of harkens back to USA versus the world too,
Little bit.
because singles doubles team, and you don't have it without the team.
This is the sort of stuff. I mean, I would love to see something like this at the professional level too, like a true Ryder Cup, because I love the PBA league. I love the teams. I love the Baker format in that. I just think it would be a sight that if you're a fan of bowling, you would have to watch it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah, that release, there's just something really special about his release.
I took some pictures of Robert bowling when he shot that 300 and running 40 frames a second on pictures really helps you see kind of what they're doing.
Sure.
And he's actually got this really interesting thing about his release where it's super loaded at the bottom. Like it's a ton, very strong wrist position. And then actually when he reaches out, his hand is actually flat as a pancake with his palm straight up. So he goes from unloaded or loaded to flat. So flat rather than, the traditional get around it and your fingers go up to the sky.
Yeah.
His is dead flat.
Huh.
It makes no sense at all. But he's dang good at it.
Isn't he?
Also, two-handed bowling is really hard. I just want to throw that out there too. I'm so bad at it that I just don't bother because it just hurts.
Yep. I've tried a couple
It's
shots and
so
my
hard.
knees tell me nope. You don't want to do
The
that.
timing is so different. The swing plane is so strange. Just all of it. All right, I'm gonna go watch the rest of these matches,
All right.
and I'm gonna go find my wife.
There you go.
So, Fef,
Thanks for the
good
time.
luck for the rest of the day, man.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.
Ben Glascock.
Who
at,
knows? I might stop back.
There you go. 10 Pin Life. Check him out on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. You will be glad you did.
Thanks, buddy.
There he goes. Yeah, like I said earlier, Ben was interested in this event from the jump. He is really, he's really a fan of seeing these talented juniors on this stage, get after it. And it's certainly a treat to have everybody here right in town to see this border battle competition. So again, we're in doubles matches right now. We're watching Dawson Unrath and Dakota France taking on Robert Vater and Braden Malish here on 17 and 18. Just a narrow 6-pin lead for the Minnesota side in this game. Unrath from Bismarck, North Dakota. And when asked about what he does outside of bowling, he said, I pretty much just work. And now we got Deadwood on both sides, 17 and 18. Yeah, a long drive for those folks like Dawson from North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, but glad they made the trip here. Because we're treated to a great best of 5 Baker match with these kids.
Cool.
Now Dakota France shaking him up, but the 7 stands. Dakota, when asked about his best bowling accomplishment, he mentioned that he shot his first 300 in front of his mother on Mother's Day. That's a thrill. Also had 2 high school state team titles. So no stranger to success in the team format. the 17-year-old from Princeton, Minnesota. Another strike for Unrath to lead off the 10th frame here. As Vater leaves a 10 pin, so this one's going to go to the Minnesota side as well. Again, it's a best of 5. Unwrap is another one with that rock solid release at the bottom. Snaps out the 10 to finish at 204. So the doubles part of the event here and Minnesota trying to jump back in this.
We're supposed to. Are we on? My girlfriend just texted me and said, "Poor Luke and Rory, that really hard hit to the."
Bristol Buyer on 17 there, up high, leaving a 6-10. She is a junior at Stephen F. Austin University in Texas. And it might be hard to tell on camera here, but she is throwing a spare ball with the Lumberjacks logo. So Trisky and Trisky, the two sisters, the doubles team that Breyer and Abigail Starkey are taking on right now on 17 and 18. At the conclusion of the doubles matches, we're going to break for lunch here. And we will break off this particular link from the live stream. But you can catch the team matches on the other link on this playlist. They're scheduled to start up at 1:30 this afternoon. And that will really be what determines which tournament tour is going to walk out of here as the champs? Also, during that break time, they will re-oil these lanes. And you can take a peek at the pattern. Team competition will be on. It's on the right side right there. Just a touch different than what they faced this morning at the beginning of the singles and doubles.
There we go, Brayden.
And you can kind of see
Let's go, Robert.
several of the Wisconsin players are gathered behind Malish and Vater, cheering them on. Same thing's going on the left with the Minnesota guys. They know a lot's riding on this. Another strike for Unrath. And they're off to an early lead in this game. Wow, France got a great break on a high hit there. Sometimes you need those, and a good place for that one as it gives them 3 in a row. Light hit for Malish as he tries to take down the 2-8. Malish takes down the 5 and the 10 to give them a double in a pretty big spot. They're about 13 down, so Unrath going to try and get 10 here to keep the pressure on. Up high and somehow plows them all down. Boy, a couple of opportune breaks in this game may just make the difference unless Vater and Malish can keep stringing them here and get some help. Meanwhile, the Triskies over on 18 finished off at 205. They're gonna take that game over there. Pack that, caved in the 7 and 9. And that's 4 in a row. Meanwhile, Malish shooting at that 4-5. Not a great break on that light hit. Kind of collapsed the bucket, but takes care of that little split. There's another hit for Unrath. And Daron Hansen giving Dawson a high five after they finish out with a 256. Great performance for Unrath and France here on 15 and 16. And 3 to finish out for Vater and Malish. They finished at 224. And congratulations all around for the team of France and Unrath, as it appears they've won their points here. There are a couple of doubles matches still going on. You can kind of see off to the extreme right on 21 and 22. But most are all set here. So while there isn't much going on out in front of us, we're going to have a little chat with Zach Singer from the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour. What do you think so far?
a display of talent is all I would say. There's a lot of awesome, and we have lunch coming
All right.
for all the kids. But yeah, really just awesome display of talent. Really impressed with what I'm seeing. Sportsmanship's at like a super high level, and also the bowling's at a high level. We've had a Baker 300, an individual 300, and a 298 so far. And the lanes definitely are not like the most incredibly difficult thing, but it does take a lot of quality shot making, which we've seen a lot of so far. So
Yeah.
awesome to watch.
We've seen you kind of make your way up and down the house, talking to the competitors. What I mean, if you could kind of give us just a little nugget as to what those conversations are like today.
Yeah. Right now the focus, at least for singles, and then for the first game or two of doubles, was being able to stay farther right and still maintain the same breakpoint distance. So like when the balls that were too soon or too smooth, too early started to look bad, just getting into like their 2-ball or their 3-ball. So going from like like a Nova or super strong balls like the Gem down to like the Zen Soul or Phase 2 like for Robert. So yeah, just managing those changes and just making sure that they're in the right part of the lane still.
Yeah. You mentioned sportsmanship, kind of the team concept, and that's an environment that, it's interesting for us from the outside looking in to see, okay, these are kids who do a lot of individual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to do in a team situation, especially pre-college, right?
Yeah, I really think that's crucial. When you come down to like the national team championship for college, it's just all Baker. And so it's all team bowling, and the more that we can expose them to that, the better. I really try to keep it as we try to do as many team events as possible throughout the year. So at WYBT, we have a doubles tournament, and then also, and that's Baker, or at least for the majority of the tournament. We also have a trios Baker tournament, and we usually make the trios tournament pattern like just brutal. So it's just all teamwork. There's some bonus pins there. So yeah, as much of this Baker team bowling that we can do, the best is the best. And down on lanes 3 and 4 is Kale and Brendan. We made a move for Kale. He was sliding about 10 with his Zen Soul, and we were talking about last night too, just game plan. He made a big like maybe 20 board move off his feet, and it seems like they just doubled to win. I can't really tell if they won or not, but it seemed like
there was definitely some celebrating.
It seemed like they
on.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the WYBT, because it's a different situation certainly than when I was in juniors, and I'm an old guy. I mean, this was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So tell me about the tour, when it got started, and what it's all about for those parents and competitors around Wisconsin who are looking for something challenging.
Yeah, I would describe the motto of WYBT as just growth and learning. Those are bar none the most important things that we do. The patterns are what you'll see in college and junior gold. So we bowl the first half of the season on college patterns, and then the last half of the season on junior gold. So when you're getting closer to junior gold, and in July, we're fresh and ready on those patterns at the end of the year. So we have a very sharp focus on those two things. But yeah, just for people that are interested in improving their game, learning, and just growing as a competitor, that's what our focus is.
Yeah. You can definitely find more information. If you scroll down in the description of this, you'll find a link to both WYBT and MJBT. We were talking with Daron Hansen from MJBT, and I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked him.
Yeah.
There are tournament directors' picks involved in this. So I want to know who they were for you and why those people were your picks.
Yeah, our picks were Rory Clark, Kale Rush, and Gavin Suprenin. We look at a lot of factors when we're making directors' picks for spots. And while we do, we're very confident that our point system and the tournaments themselves for the direct qualifiers, they also very much deserve it. But attitude is probably about a third to half of our decision maker. It's pretty much attitude and teamwork ability. And then after that, performance across tournaments in, across the state of Wisconsin. We have a few bowlers that are like freshmen in college. So maybe this year, they were performing super well. A couple older guys. So yeah, we look at performance. Mainly it's all about team chemistry and collaboration.
Yeah, I'm throwing up the scoreboard just because this is what we're going to be looking at in just a moment here when things get updated. And I'm not sure if this
It is being updated right now by Dylan as we speak.
Real time.
So
Ooh.
yeah, one of the things that we really are proud of, I guess, at WYBT is this Google Drive setup that I constructed, and it allows us to give scores for parents, people at home, people in the center, just instantaneously.
Yeah.
Always unofficial until I, hop on the PA system and announce it, but gives you a really clear picture of what's going on. We don't want bowlers on their phones to look at it, but mainly it's just for people to get an idea of where they are and not have to wait too long to see the score. So
Sure. Yeah, no, that's great that we can have access to that to find out how things are going. Now, we are just on a break right now because all the doubles matches are gone. Davis is out there. You can see with the oiler.
Yeah.
So they are going to re-oil. And then does this start at 1:30 again?
it should. I think we're going to give everybody the entire lunch break, do practice at 1:15, and then 1:20, and then start bowling 1:30.
Okay, good deal. Well, we are going to, I'll keep it up here with the scores, but as far as the live stream for the team competition, that will be on a different link. If you go back to the playlist on the YouTube page, you can find that other link under the team event. It says Saturday afternoon in parentheses, so you'll know where to go. An early congratulations, because this is a fantastic event, and it's a great look at the future of this sport across the Midwest. And you guys have done a bang-up job so far.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure to be able to get these types of bowlers, these really quality athletes that are extremely talented, to say the least, and put them all in one place and put them on display for everybody to watch. So, yeah, the more we can keep growing the event and just making it better every year, that's the goal. I don't expect it to stay the exact same as this year. Definitely have already gotten some feedback and plan to talk about it with Daron and Dylan and see what we can do to make it just a little bit better every year and give them even more of a chance to keep growing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so thank you. Appreciate the time and the
pleasure.
insight. And we look forward to seeing the team competition this afternoon.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Zach Singer from the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour. Again, they are tabulating the scores right now. You're seeing those updates in real time. And we'll keep this up for now. But again, as far as the team competition, you'll want to go onto the playlist and click on the Saturday afternoon link, the one denoted for team competition. That's where we'll be live streaming the conclusion of the MJBT WYBT Border Battle. Like I said, I'll keep this up. I'll have the microphone off so you can see scores updating in real time. And we will go from there. Hope to see you join us either live or on replay this afternoon.